Okay, welcome to the Astrology Academy. And I am kicking off that we're going to start doing a weekly series on astrology and sports. So here's what I'm going to show you what I have in mind, what we will be doing. It's my binder I've got so I can keep myself organized. Okay. Now, since football is not starting till September, I'm going to warm myself up with some baseball. Once I get the baseball going, then I'll know I've got the dust kind of brushed off me. I was doing this in 1995, and before we had the internet as it is today, I couldn't get anybody's birthday. I was having to drop charts with an old computer. I was having to make phone calls to get information. It was such a hassle. And then I was living in Nebraska, of course, at the time. So, I couldn't, the bets weren't worth it. I was getting the winners accurately, but there was no point, there was no way to bet because the point spread would get me every time. But I feel very encouraged. Unbeknownst to me, this weekly radio show I had where I'd give a sports prediction for the week, the Omaha World Herald sports editor, I remember, was following me. And after I predicted the Super Bowl that year, which was an upset, he said, he wrote about me and said that I had been, getting everything pretty much accurate, even the Super Bowl that week. So I was pretty encouraged. He said something like I did 144 games out of 100 and 44 games out of 146, I think he said I got right. I'm gonna have to go dig up that news clipping I've got somewhere in this house. Anyway, this is how I would keep things organized, and what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be looking at. Now, if you want to subscribe to get my predictions, let me know. But in the meantime, for astrologers to see what I'm doing, here we go. Now, I've got the schedule printed out of the baseball games. This is because I'm going to start going to some casino sports books and find out if I can get in some clubs. Because I'm also finding I'm still going to get annihilated on the point spread with my predictions, but I'm finding out there's a way to make money if I, make a lot of bets or I'm highly accurate. There's all these other contests and things that I'm going to be looking into. Okay, now what I've done is I noticed, God, this is so much easier. I wish I had this back then. But this is why I'm coming back to it now is the pictures seem to be, I know nothing of sports. I'll tell you right now, I know nothing of sports. So this is going to be pure astrology, and I am using ChatGPT to help me understand sports. Okay, so evidently the pictures, we have their birthday. I'm so thrilled. So when I really get cooking, I'm going to put their charts on the back. So that's going to tell me how their year is going. And to make life a little interesting for our viewers, that subscribe, I'll give you forecasts for each one of the players. Now, to get myself back into gear, what I've done is I've taken a game for tomorrow. Now, it's very important for me, what the way that I was taught, to predict a game that has not been played yet, not to go back over a game. And the reason why is because as also an intuitive person, I could be picking up on the energy of what happened rather than truly predicting. So my teachers taught me to always make your predictions before the event. Don't go backtracking because it's a different energy you're tapping into. So before I get done for the evening, I will make a forecast. But here's the data that I'm going to be looking at to be sort of extra sure and, just also make it interesting. For anybody into sports, you guys know all about your teams. Well, I'm going to be talking about your teams and your players' astrology. Okay. Now, I picked a game for tomorrow that's actually going to be held on the 26th on Sunday. Okay. But I'm calling it game one because it's the first game I'm starting with. It's going to be held at 9:15 a.m. in Tampa Bay, Florida. So this is the chart of the game. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, looking at this, and this is where I'm gonna have a hard time. Okay. I do think the game will kick off about 9:20. Because what's going to happen is when Mars hits that angle, that's when the game's going to kick off. So give it about 5 minutes. I'd say the game will start about, 9:20 a.m. Now, we have Venus on the ascendant. All right. So that tells me that the home team is going to be really beloved. The fans are going to be there because the ascendant, this whole half of the chart right here, is either the home team or the favorite. Now, here's where I'm getting a little confused, and I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging because I understand the home team is the underdog. Okay. Now, I will say this, though, that the fans are going to be there for the home team. That's definitely sure. Um, the thing is, I have the sun and Jupiter are in the 11th house. So that means also that the favorite is going to really be favored astrologically because it's in the 11th house. Okay. And so there's going to, it also, this opposition to Pluto tells me that a lot of people are going to be pulling for this team. So I'm going to take this to mean the underdog or the home team. Because this is what I have to decide for myself. Because the problem is that the home team is not the favorite team. So in astrology, the home team or the favorite team is the left side. Now we've got opposites. So I'm going to have to figure out who's who here, which is why I run other charts. But looking at this, we do have Chiron in the eighth house at 0 degrees. Saturn is angular. Mars is going to hit the ascendant, which is squaring Saturn. I do believe someone could get injured at this game. Doesn't look terrible because it looks like it's a minor degree. But it is, if you notice, Chiron aspecting this, somebody I think is going to be taken out of the game because of an injury fairly early into the game. And this is going to make it interesting for me to watch the game. I'm going to see if this is actually what's going to happen. But I'm still not sure if this side here is going to be for the favorite or if it's for the home team. Haven't figured that out yet. I'm going to do more calculations to come up with that answer. Because this Saturn Neptune on this side of the chart for the other team does not look good. Pluto in their on their side of the chart alone. Uranus is an upset of some kind, something that's unexpected. I'm tying that to the injury. Okay. But we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I still don't know which side of the chart I'm going to pick on this one. So here's what I do when I'm trying to get more information. Okay. The pitchers seem to be the point person in the game to me. So what I've done is on the outer wheel, I have the game tomorrow. See, 9:15 a.m. Okay. Now, one of the pitchers who I don't have his name here, but one of the pitchers, his birthday was July 27th, 95. I'm going to have to write their name on there so I can remember. Anyway, he's in the inner wheel. So I've got the game here, and then I have the pitcher. Okay. And what's interesting is his Chiron. Whoa, his Chiron is opposing Saturn tomorrow and aspecting Pluto and Neptune. Wow. He's going to be in a lot of pain physically for some reason. Okay. I'm wondering if the injury is him. But he may not show the injury. I'm just, there's definitely a lot of pain here physically. Okay. So, especially with Uranus, something unexpected. He's going to be very accident prone tomorrow. So I'd keep an eye on his physical safety, that he doesn't have some kind of accident tomorrow of some kind. I have to figure out who this guy is, who the pitcher is on that game. Anyway, so then I also had the game, and the other team's pitcher was born on October 26, 2000. So his inner wheel is here. Now with Mars, his Mars angular, his Mars is going to be in the first house of the game. Aspecting the moon in the second house. So this guy seems like he's going to be playing really right on the money. Saturn digging in, he's going to be very determined. I have to figure out what picture this is again. I wonder if I have it on the computer still. No, I don't. I'll have to look it up. But that picture that's born, it looks like 26th of October 2000. I'll have to dig up his name. Anyway, I'm also taking the inaugural game, the game that the team opens as their birth chart of the team. So Tampa Bay actually had their first game on March 31st, 1998 at 5:15 p.m. So their team chart is this outer wheel. Okay. Now I put the game itself on this under wheel. Now catch this. This is interesting to me, is that the Mars of the game is right smack on the midhaven of Tampa Bay's midhaven. Okay. So, that's interesting. And it's also aspecting Saturn. So they're going to undergo some, and Mars. Okay, so there's going to be some kind of harm, hurt, detriment to them, the Tampa Bay team tomorrow. Okay, but I've got to sit down and look at this, like I said, a little bit more closer. I'm just going through with you how I'm going to be doing my predictions for the game. Okay, now I've taken the Cleveland Guardians opening day was April 7th, 2022 at 3 p.m. Okay, so the outer wheel is actually the Cleveland Bay team chart. Okay, and it's also the inner wheel again is the inner wheel is the team. I mean, no, the game. Finding it interesting, Saturn is going to be on the sun of the Cleveland Guardians. So, this really can dampen them of their true capacity, I would say. It's also the Saturn to Saturn over here. So I think they're going to be downplaying their capacity or maybe not trying as hard as they could. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a game, but definitely they're going to be holding back, it looks like, from that chart. Now, I also, just to get some further data, I found the owner, Paul Dolan. I got to write this down. The owner and is on the outer wheel for Paul Dolan, and the inner wheel is the chart. And oh, I remember now. The owner, Patrick Kazarski. He seems to be the main owner for yeah, I definitely have to write this down. I mean, I really know nothing of the game, so I'm gonna get this and when I do. And I've got the owner also with the game. So I'm taking a look here, noticing, just noticing what's going on. And the Pluto is doing a quincunx to the owner's moon, indicating that some things are going to be coming through for him that people, didn't expect. He's definitely has got some surprises for people of things happening that people said, "Oh, you can't do that," or "That'll never happen." So he's got some really extraordinary luck. Moon Mars tomorrow, so I'd say he's going to be in the mood tomorrow. Okay. Um, but this is what I'm going to be doing. And when I get done, I'll have my prediction for the game, but that's for subscribers only. So if you want to know more about sports astrology with me, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Send me an email to get on the newsletter so that I'll let you know when I'm going to go live with these predictions and forecasts. And thanks for joining me.